It seems despite the fact that the fight Tyson vs. Paul was rescheduled, Jake Paul found a new and younger opponent. Rumors are going around that Jake Paul will fight Mike Perry instead of Mike Tyson, and that the fight is canceled for good. Let's take a look. Jake Paul's highly anticipated fight with former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, originally scheduled for July 20th, has been postponed due to a recent health scare for Tyson. Initially, there were hopes to proceed with the fight, despite Tyson's medical issues. However, it became evident that Tyson was unable to fully train for the match, resulting in the bout being rescheduled for November 15th.
Breaking news as Jake Paul versus Mike Perry is rumored. Happy Punch has reported that breaking news Jake Paul versus Mike Perry could be set for July 20th, per sources close to Jake Paul's camp, with them putting out a potential fight poster of Jake Paul taking on Mike Perry as a replacement opponent for Mike Tyson, who recently had to pull out of that event. That event recently got rescheduled to November 15th, so Jake Paul could potentially be fighting in the meantime, with Mike Perry being a possible opponent. There were talks about this being a backup before the fight.
Given this delay, Jake Paul has decided not to wait until the new date, and will instead face a different opponent on July 20th. According to reports from various sources, including MMA legend BJ Penn, Paul will now take on Mike Perry, a former UFC fighter who is currently a star in the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC. An official announcement from Jake Paul and his most valuable promotions company is expected soon. The situation creates some uncertainty about whether Paul will still fight Tyson in November, or if his bout with Perry will be an exhibition match. Regardless, the upcoming fight between Paul and Perry is expected to be an exciting matchup. Paul and Perry's fight records add an interesting layer to their upcoming matchup. Mike Perry, known for his time in the UFC, holds a 14-8 record. However, his UFC career was marked by several controversies, including a physical altercation and a video in which he used racial slurs, leading to his departure from the organization. Perry then transitioned to the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC, where he made an impressive debut on February 19, 2022, by defeating Julian Lane. Since joining BKFC, Perry has remained undefeated, boasting a 5-0 record. His victories include wins over notable former UFC fighters such as Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, and Thiago Alves. On the other hand, Jake Paul has been on a winning streak since experiencing his first professional boxing loss to Tommy Fury in February 2023. He bounced back by defeating former UFC fighter Nate Diaz by unanimous decision on August 5th, 2023. Paul continued his winning ways by knocking out Andre August on December 15th, 2023, and Ryan Borland on March 2nd, 2024. With both fighters bringing impressive records and a lot of momentum into the ring, their matchup promises to be highly exciting and competitive. If Jake Paul doesn't fight with Mike Tyson, I feel like many people will be disappointed, but there will be some relived. Like, there are many great fans who think that Mike Tyson is in a lose-lose situation, but there are those who think Mike Tyson would still beat Jake Paul. Matt Brown said when he sees a guy like Mark Coleman, who trains at his gym all the time and is around 60 years old, close to Tyson's age of 58 or 59. He's encouraged. Despite the damage Coleman has done to his body with substances and alcohol, and not training for years, seeing him train gives Brown hope for Tyson. He noted that Tyson hasn't deteriorated his body as much as Coleman has, and considering Tyson's status as a freak athlete, he might still have it in him. Brown acknowledges Paul's astute entrepreneurship, recognizing that Paul has effectively redirected the spotlight of a younger demographic towards the art of boxing, where it was much needed. However, Brown is skeptical about Paul entering a brawl with a seasoned icon like Tyson. The recent press conference might have swayed his opinion, though. According to Brown, Paul trying to be hard on Tyson is a bold move. He thinks it's unwise because it's Mike Tyson, and no one would have dared to challenge him 20 or 30 years ago. Brown finds it puzzling that Paul, usually calculated and smart, would provoke someone like Tyson, a legendary savage in the ring. Tyson's major hurdle is his age, which might thwart his ambitions of victory, despite his fervent desire to demolish Paul in their upcoming bout. Brown contends that aging affects a fighter's body in many ways, but his primary concern for Tyson is not physical decline, but his mental fortitude for a ring comeback. He believes that Paul's provocative banter could be the catalyst needed for Tyson to stage a one-night return to glory. Brown pointed out that for many fighters, what goes first is not their speed or power, but their bloodthirsty hunger. He thinks Tyson has become comfortable with his life, with his podcast and financial stability, and provoking him might awaken the 25-year-old killer within him. Amir Khan, a seasoned former world champion, has also weighed in on the impending clash between Tyson and Paul. Khan is surprised that such a matchup has been made, noting that Tyson is a legend of the game, not someone to mess with, even though he's older and retired. Despite Tyson's exhibitions, Khan believes Tyson could seriously harm Paul due to the weight and experience disparity. Khan is concerned that Tyson might accidentally hurt Paul, emphasizing that Tyson is not someone to take lightly, especially given the size and weight differences in a pro bout. He is amazed by the fight announcement and confidently predicts a knockout win for Tyson, stressing that Tyson remains a dangerous guy in the ring, even in his 50s.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, or KSI?
So I like KSI. I did an interview with him in the boxing ring. This is well before he wanted to ever fight. I think Jake Paul, he gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well. And he thinks he can fight and
take him down.
He's had some good wins against like MMA fighters.
Yeah, not proper boxers.
Yeah. He's a
little
bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on just to beat him.
Well,
Pacquiao shares the sentiment with Kid Dynamite, despite Tyson once holding the world heavyweight title. Now, 3 decades older than Jake Paul, Tyson is a far cry from his prime. On the other hand, Jake Paul is currently at his peak with a record of 9 wins and just 1 loss. This contrasts sharply with Tyson, who has often been seen using a cane and has disclosed in 2022 that he suffers from sciatica, a condition that can sometimes be so painful it renders him unable to talk. Despite concerns about Tyson's health, Manny Pacquiao still believes in Tyson's skills. At a recent event, the 8-division champion was informed about the upcoming July 20th fight. When asked if Paul could defeat the 57-year-old Tyson, Pacquiao responded confidently, suggesting he does not think so. The Filipino legend is not alone in his confidence in Tyson. Despite objections from Oscar De La Hoya and Stephen A. Smith about the fight happening, both acknowledge that Tyson's deep understanding of the sport could give him an edge over Paul. De La Hoya highlighted that Tyson has faced formidable opponents throughout his career and believes that Tyson's resilience and strong chin could allow him to go several rounds with Paul. Similarly, Stephen A. Smith, despite his concerns for Tyson's health, recognized that Tyson still possesses the power to significantly impact Paul with a well-placed punch. In a recent exchange, Tyson called Paul fat, commenting on his physical condition. Paul responded by referring to Buster Douglas, the boxer who famously knocked out Tyson in 1990, giving him his first career loss. Paul asserted that he could defeat Tyson even quicker than Douglas did. Despite this provocative banter, Paul expressed gratitude to Tyson for helping him start his career, likening their relationship to that of a father and son. However, he made it clear that he intends to defeat Tyson in their upcoming match.